Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi everyone and welcome to episode 139 of Total Retail Talks. In today's episode, Executive Editor Joe Keenan sits down with Mike Early, Senior Managing Director and Head of Information Technology at Build-A-Bear Workshop. Listen in as they discuss their new analytics dashboard to help Build-A-Bear's internal operations become more efficient. All recorded live at this year's NRF Big Show in New York City. And now, on to the show.
Hi, I'm Joe Keenan of Total Retail. I'm here at the NRF Big Show in New York. I am joined by Mike Early, who is the Senior Managing Director and Head of Information Technology at Build-A-Bear Workshop. We're going to be talking a little bit about how Build-A-Bear is working with Microsoft and some technology solutions. So thanks for joining me, Mike.
No problem, Joe. Thanks for having me.
So let's start by talking a little bit about, prior to working with Microsoft, what were some of the challenges Build-A-Bear had as it looked to identify and track key business metrics?
Sure. So we were on really old systems, hadn't updated for quite a long time, and there were a bunch of things going on around that made it difficult for us to do anything. Not least of all was just keep things synced together. So as we tried to look at metrics, you'd sit in a meeting and one person would have one number, someone else would have a different number, and you'd spend more time figuring out what the right answer is than you would actually solving the business problem. So that was one of the huge drivers in us going to look. There are also back-end technology challenges when you live in an environment like that. My team specifically spent a lot of time on break fix, maintenance, those types of things, as opposed to doing things that we wanted to do to help the business. So we were very anxious to move on to a new platform where we could solve all of those problems.
And what type of data are we talking about? Is this customer data, inventory data, or all competitor data, or all sorts of?
Ultimately, it's all of those things, and we want to address all of them. This particular project addresses the financial piece of things. Okay. So we're talking about sales, markdowns, gross margin, those pieces of the business. And
just for our audience, I think most people are aware of Build-A-Bear, but obviously, stores, e-commerce site, mobile, kind of the three or four different ways you're interacting with your customers?
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly right. We've got the brick and mortar stores. We've got some non-traditional retail locations. So we've done some work recently with people like AMC Theaters, where we have a kiosk in a theater as maybe a movie releases, and we've got that property as part of our offering. We'll roll that kiosk out and do business for a couple of weeks while that's there. We're also doing some business with Carnival on the cruise ships. So we're excited about those things. In addition to your point, yes, there's the e-commerce thing. And our overall business strategy is to kind of diversify. We're looking to become not just a retailer who has a great brand, but a brand who has lots of other business streams. Mm-hmm. So we're also looking into things like wholesale, outbound licensing. Our old systems wouldn't have supported that either. Yeah. So this move really sets us up not only to solve the problems we currently had, but also help us address the future and position us for a little more growth.
So this solution that you've rolled out or in process with Microsoft, their Dynamics 365 solution, talk a little bit about how you think that's going to help you address some of these challenges that you mentioned, sort of providing that consistent data and everyone's kind of on the same page as the metrics we should be looking at and identifying.
Yeah, it really helps us in two places. From a business standpoint, exactly to your point, the metrics are in one place, right? This is one database. It's there. If I look at the report, I can have faith that no matter where or how I pull that, I'm going to pull the same sales number, for example. So the business is excited about that piece of things. Also on those old systems, we ended up doing a lot of manual uploads. Over the years, we'd come up with new things that had to get done, so they created a process to do it outside of the core system. So that piece goes away too, right? So we've built this out in such a way that it handles all of those business cases we have now, so it gets them away from the manual work they had to do. Mm-hmm. Benefit internally because our people aren't wasting time doing that, but also a benefit because if I'm not integrating all of those different points, I don't have to put controls around them, and it significantly helps from a SOC standpoint because now we've got everything in one place, less integrations. From an IT standpoint, clearly if we're spending less time doing maintenance and more time working on enabling our business processes and helping them think through what do they want to do next, that's accretive.
Yeah. Freeing up time to work on new projects.
Other stuff that's going to benefit us instead of just fixing something that wasn't working right.
Exactly. Maybe you could provide an example or two of how this technology from Microsoft is helping Build-A-Bear, specifically around becoming more efficient internally within your organization?
Sure. I mean, a great example is so we're multinational, right? We have stores in the U.S. and in Europe and Canada. As we work through, even at the month end, trying to consolidate and what's our balance sheet look like, what's our earnings statement look like on a consolidated basis. That was all stuff that had to be pulled out of the system, thrown into Excel spreadsheets, rolled up, and then reported on. So it took a long time to provide our senior executives with the data they needed to run the business. So in this situation, that's not true anymore. It's all part of one solution, so we can get away from having to do that. We're also, the next thing we'll roll out, so we're going to start out with the core financial piece of things, and that's going to go live in a couple of weeks. Soon on the heels of that, we're going to roll out the trade and logistics piece. So we'll run all of our non-merchandise inventory through that. So we'll continue to buy merchandising through our merchandising system. But supplies, things you'd use in a store, bales of stuffing, condos, all those types of things are going to run through this process. That's going to make it easier for the stores to order because now they have access and they didn't before necessarily. And then from an overall procurement standpoint, when I'm buying other things like services, for example, we're going to run those through as well. So now I've integrated all of my purchasing outside of merchandise into one place, make us a lot easier to manage that piece of things as well.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting the first point around kind of giving that snapshot to your senior execs about the financial reporting end of it. Kind of is that it now? If you're able to do that more efficiently, you do it more frequently and kind of change things on a quicker basis too.
I think that's part of it. That tended to more happen on a month-end basis.
Okay.
And I think it really helps make the close more efficient and get that really recent picture of what the business looks like. On a day-to-day basis, those types of metrics, clearly they'll be able to look at it a little bit differently because it all is integrated into one place. That specific example is more around kind of the month-end piece of things.
So what are the business benefits that Build-A-Bear is hoping to realize as a result of working with Microsoft's Dynamics 365 product?
Yeah, we're looking for efficiency is one of the biggest things, and that's both on the business side and the IT side. We want to free ourselves up, reduce overhead on tasks, and free ourselves up to focus that time on whether it's new ideas or new initiatives, other tasks that can make us more effective in running the business.
So we're here at NRF. You can see there's obviously thousands of exhibitors and thousands of different vendors and technology companies out there. What was it about Microsoft and its product that attracted you at Build-A-Bear to eventually want to partner with them?
Yeah, a couple things. One is they're investing a lot of money in retail, so that's exciting to us. And it's really, outside of that, when we looked at what our business problem was and what our strategy was, A being multinational, B being we want to grow into these other things, C being we've got an old system we want to upgrade and we want to kind of go to something more cloud-oriented where someone else is kind of doing that maintenance and heavy lifting. It really just fit for us. This is the solution we looked at that required the least customization for our business, and we really want to stay away from that as much as we can. From a technology perspective, I don't want to customize because then when I do upgrades, it makes it harder for me, right? So I want to stay standard as much as I can. This solved that problem. And additionally, for our users, the interface is so familiar. There's a lot of change management that goes on around an initiative like this. And if I can reduce even a little bit of the angst and anxiety that happens because they see something familiar, I think that's pretty beneficial. So we like that part as well. And then lastly, from a technology perspective, we already operate within the Microsoft stack within a lot of the other parts of our business, especially from our core infrastructure standpoint, servers, maintenance, whatever. So we've got a little more expertise there. And that expertise is also readily available in our market where some of the other platforms aren't. So those things all come together and made a really good fit for us.
Yeah, I was going to ask about kind of the training if necessary. And you mentioned that a lot of your stack is already Microsoft, so there's a familiarity there. So it's kind of a less of an uptime to get started, I would imagine. Yeah,
we believe so. Especially from the technology standpoint. From the user side, the interface is clearly different than what they used to use. It's much more modernized and much more user-friendly. So there's an intuitive piece to it that we really like. The other part about it is it's got, you've got the, I forget exactly what they call it. I'm a little bit embarrassed about that right now. But, you can basically record the tasks you do. So if I have a senior accountant and I'm going to go pay a senior payroll, or say a senior AP clerk, and they're going to go pay an invoice, they can record how they do that. And if we bring in someone new, they can then look at that video and it'll take them step by step, or those steps take them step by step through how they enact that. So we think it's going to even reduce our training and onboarding time as we bring new associates in.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Mike Early of Build-A-Bear Workshop for joining me today at NRF, telling us a little bit about its work with Microsoft. Thanks,
Great.
Mike.
Joe, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, be sure to visit our podcast channel page at www.mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher, but be sure to subscribe to our podcast channel page as well. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.